Hi everyone, Miss Elizabeth here for First Congregational Church of Muskegon Confirmation class. Today's video lesson, we return to Unit 3, the unit in our curriculum about being part of the community of life that includes all people. Our lesson today is specifically about inclusion. We're following the progressive Christianity curriculum that First Congregational Church has purchased, although we do not own the copyright to this material. Accepting and coping with outward differences is an important step toward opening our hearts to others. But to really include others in our reality, we must understand that despite apparent differences, there is only one self, one spirit, one true reality underlying all that is. Our affirmation is, "The spirit within me is the one spirit that lives in all." Here's some quotes I want to share. From the book of Ephesians, "There is one body and one spirit, just as you were called to the one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in all." Robert Russo Morton, at the address at the Lincoln Memorial dedication in 1922, said, "With malice toward none, with charity for all, we dedicate ourselves and our posterity, with you and yours, to finish the work which he so nobly began, to make America an example for all the world of equal justice and equal opportunity for all." And from the Bible, the book of Mark, chapter 12, it says, "One of the scribes came near and heard them disputing with one another, and seeing that he answered them well, he asked him, 'Which commandment is first of all?' Jesus answered, 'The first is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." And the great singer Marian Anderson said, "There are many persons ready to do what is right, because in their hearts they know it is right. But they hesitate, waiting for the other fellow to make the first move. And he, in turn, waits for you." As God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. That is from the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 12. And I'm sure you'll recognize this one. "So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." Of course, that was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And from a song by Angelique Kidjo, "We Are One." You and I, we are like the earth and sky, one family under the sun. All the wisdom to lead, all the courage that you need, you will find when you see we are one. Family, family, we are one. Family, family, we are one. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Are these more than buzzwords to you? What do they mean to you in 2022? What did they mean for President Lincoln's Gettysburg Address in 1863? And at the dedication 100 years ago of the Lincoln Memorial? How about to Marian Anderson and all who listened to her sing there on Easter morning in 1939? What does that mean to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he was speaking on those very same steps about his dream in 1963? Let's look at those words. Diversity, the practice or quality of including or involving people from a range of different social and ethnic backgrounds, of different genders, sexual orientations, etc. It encompasses acceptance and respect. It means understanding that each individual is unique and recognizes our individual differences. Equity, the quality of being fair and impartial. The principle of equity acknowledges that there are historically underserved and underrepresented populations, and that fairness regarding these unbalanced conditions is needed to assist equality in the provision of effective opportunities to all groups. And lastly, inclusion, the practice or policy of providing equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized, such as those who have physical or mental disabilities, members of other minority groups. So, diversity, equity, inclusion. The Chief Diversity Officer, Robert Sellers of the University of Michigan, said, "Diversity is where everyone is invited to the party. Equity means that everyone has the opportunity to dance. And inclusion means that everyone gets to contribute to the playlist." It's now trending as DEI. Coincidentally, the word spelled DEI, Dei, is Latin for God. Think about this text from our opening hymn in this morning's worship service. Have you not bid us love you every way, all your own, soul, heart, and strength and mind? And this from our closing hymn. How firm a foundation for you has been laid by God in the word, in the sacrifice paid. Fear not, I am with you. Oh, be not dismayed. If you've been following these lessons this year, you know that I try to feature a commencement speech that connects with the theme of the lesson. Let's hear about DEI from Dr. Rebecca Stoltzfus, who is the president of Goshen College, in her spring Convocation speech of January 2019. In it, she said, "The foundation of this house is the inherent goodness and dignity of each one of us. In the Judeo-Christian story, God took soil and breathed life into it and created us from God's own life. God knitted us together in our mother's wombs. Our breath is sacred because it comes from God. When we are weary or injured, God wants to restore our souls because they come from God. This sacred breath is a living thread that connects us to God, through which we feel the pull of God, the inner voice of God in our sacred selves. As long as we are alive, we have breath, this built-in sacred connection to God. This foundation that we are created in the image of God makes every one of us deeply beloved and unspeakably precious. This foundation is absolutely fundamental to our house. If we do not speak about it and be reminded of it in our words and rituals and social arrangements, we know what happens. In every time and culture, people who are not grounded in universal human sacredness regress towards bias and discrimination, and in the extreme, genocide. There are genocides ongoing today. Humans have a tremendous propensity for bias towards ourselves. Our need for affirmation, our hunger for worthiness is so profound that without healthy religion or some other way to stay grounded on this foundation, we create a false worthiness by thinking that people like us, whatever that might mean to us, citizenship, skin color, ethnicity, are more worthy than others. So we must always tend to this foundation, remind ourselves and each other in many and various ways that we share inherent original goodness, human dignity, souls that come from God. I hope you'll get a chance to read Dr. Stoltzfus's entire speech. I will put a link to the full transcript of her speech in the description section for this video lesson. I look forward to hearing your thoughts about this. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.